At Lancaster Catholic High School, legacy is not measured in years. It is measured in pride, investment, service, and relationships, all of which span decades, constantly reinvesting in the mission of Lancaster Catholic. But why would someone choose to give of themselves in support of Lancaster Catholic High School? For some, that answer begins with gratitude. For others, with faith. But for the families we honor tonight, no matter where it began, service to Lancaster Catholic is a way of life. Why have you served the Lancaster Catholic community?
Well, for me, for years, for the last quarter of a century or more, I always thought that education was the most important thing.
I've often said that as parents, we needed all the help we could get with 5 children. And
first off, I've never done this before, so this was all new to me. My dad asked me to do it for my mother, and I was privileged. I was honored that he chose me out of all of his kids.
I was the oldest of 7. We all went to Catholic schools, and when I went off to go to college, my dad said, you have a choice. You can go to a Catholic school, or a Catholic school.
Lancaster Catholic was just a great support that helped us with our formation of our children, whether it be their values, their faith formation, their God-centered life.
I was just thinking, how do we end up getting from 475 students to maybe 600 students? And I just wanted to do something that would be best of class and maybe help the school.
Fact of the matter is, there's no greater partner in this endeavor for us than a Catholic education, both elementary and Lancaster Catholic. So,
and I feel like my dad, education is the #1, and having God in your life.
My children, a lot of the kids ended up, going to Catholic schools because we just, it was just part of our DNA.
That's our heart. Our heart is with the kids that can't do it. We try to give some support to that. So that kids who really want to come to Catholic can.
Steve Smith, class of 1964, met Dolores Kirsch, class of 1965, during their time at Lancaster Catholic. As they built their family, and as Steve advanced professionally, their commitment to Catholic education at every level remained a priority. Who inspired you in this way?
That would be my father. Oh, I'm gonna cry. He's so giving. He helps so many people, and that's why I wanted to do it and honor my mother for the last time. But definitely my dad. He's always been a hard worker, did everything for his family, and that's an inspiration to me.
In the past 6 years, the Smiths family's leadership has helped transform the Lancaster Catholic experience. Through the Cherish, Love, Honor Capital campaign, they brought to life the Steve and Dolores Smith STEM Center. Here, students engage in learning that rivals top-tier institutions, opening doors to futures once imagined, now within reach. And their impact continues. This past summer, Steve and his daughter, Shannon, partnered together for another leadership gift, which brought the Dolores Kirsch Smith Multimedia Learning Center to life. Blending tradition with innovation, this space empowers students to create, communicate, and collaborate, while expanding the reach of the Lancaster Catholic story and creating new pathways for community partnerships. Share a story of impact. When did you realize your leadership made a difference?
One of the kids that was doing the photography showed me he did over thousands of pictures, and he came up with these 3 pictures that he thought were really cool. And he was just so excited about this that to me is what making a difference is all about. I really do believe that it's going to really help enrollment, and I think the kids are going to be just a lot more prepared.
The kids just talking about the difference in the cameras, and it does that. I mean, they were so excited.
One of the students told me she was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about going to the, she was going to be on TV, what they were doing today.
Steve and Shannon's partnership ensure that their family legacy continues, faithfully extending into the next generation. For Clark Tomlinson, class of 1971, Lancaster isn't just his hometown, the place he raised his family, or where he built his business. Lancaster, and more specifically Lancaster Catholic, is where he and Beth built a legacy of leadership and service. Why have you chosen to serve, and who inspired you in this way?
I'd say Walt Legenstein has been a great mentor for me, both in my business, but also if you look at his volunteerism, it's just incredible. I don't know, even to this day, he's still very active in many associations. So I would say he's been a great model for me.
And I don't want to leave out my parents. They were great. I'm from outside of Philadelphia. You know, they gave me my Catholic faith, you know, and were very kind.
I remember too, Judy Cook's husband, I believe he was development director on a volunteer basis years ago. And I remember Steve Fritz and I, when we were the co-chairs of the development program, Judy's husband sat down with us and gave us tricks of the trade, what we should be thinking about and what we should be doing to try and raise money for Catholics. So he was a good model for us as well.
Together, Clark and his wife Beth raised 5 children, third-generation Crusaders, shaped by faith, family, and community.
Yeah, first of all, I know when we both graduated from Millersville, it was called State College at that time, and we talked about where we were going to live. You know, was it going to be outside of Philadelphia or here in Lancaster? And it was probably like a 2-minute conversation, you know, here, you know, we'd like to live here. And then our kids all went to St. Leo's.
From St. Leo the Great to Lancaster Catholic, they embraced schools as partners in the education and formation of their children. And so they gave.
Been involved for, many, many years. I served on the couple feasibility studies that, as far as the school renovation and improvements. Also served on the development committee. Not the committee, actually, we were co-chairs, Steve Fritz and I. Also on the board of the Catholic Education Foundation, which assists with tuition assistance, primarily, for students that are in need.
And I pretty much was the cheerleader for, you know, the family, you know, everybody doing whatever they're doing, you know, trying to keep them where they need to be.
Beth handled a lot of the logistics. I was able to, with her time committed there, to volunteer for the programs that we just mentioned. Carnival was a lot of fun. I remember bringing our 5 children out and
that was
trying to keep track of them. And made the mistake of volunteering for the goldfish tank one year.
Gosh,
that was,
yeah. There was crying, a lot of crying there.
It's unbelievable, but that was a great time. Tremendous volunteers, made a lot of friends there, and I think transitioning to what we're doing now, I think, has really been a good move.
For 32 consecutive years, Clark and Beth Tomlinson have faithfully invested in the mission of Lancaster Catholic High School. Through support, encouragement, and generosity, through their presence at events, donated professional services, and business sponsorships, they remain a constant source of strength for Lancaster Catholic. How do you hope others follow your lead?
And so, it's all about inspiring others. And I said this before, if 2 or 3 people around Lancaster just to get involved, maybe they'll keep up the equipment, or maybe they become more involved and you end up with another program at Lancaster Catholic because of what we've done. You know, maybe you end up with a great theater, and you differentiate yourself from others.
I would say you get asked by many organizations, including Lancaster Catholic, to serve, and for me it's difficult to say no because I know all those efforts are noble, those programs. So I would just recommend, when you're asked, say yes.
Yeah, the big thing for me is I just wish that the people that give money, that they might give $1 million or $100,000 or $500,000 to a college, that they have to really understand that people are really formed in grade school and high school, and that, you know, it's just important. If you gave 10 or 20% of that to your high school, you're really going to touch a lot of people, and you're going to touch them differently than giving a gift that's really a minor thing at a big college.
I've received so much more back than I actually have given. Just met tremendous volunteers and people serving in certain committees and capacities, and made many, many friends through all of this that are still friends today. So you'll get much more back than you're actually giving, I can tell you that.
My hope is that this continues, people doing more projects for the students.
What do you hope for the next generation of Crusaders?
Like Clark, hope that they realize, you know, the gifts that they have received, and especially a Catholic education here.
So here at a Catholic school, you can get a moral values, and I also think that you can actually teach the kids something that maybe that the public schools are just failing to teach the kids. So
I would hope that they appreciate what they've received here at Lancaster Catholic. When you look at the staff, the administration, the teachers, the board, the parents, the volunteers, a lot goes into this school and this education. I hope that our future Crusaders look at that when they begin to have children and say, you know, I want them to have what I had.
2 families, 2 journeys, 1 shared mission: to lead with faith, to serve with generosity, and to build a school that's stronger for our students, community, church, and world. Tonight we honor the Smith and Tomlinson families for their enduring support of the mission and students of Lancaster Catholic High School. We are so incredibly grateful that you are woven into the fabric of our Lancaster Catholic family.